Hello bakers! Today we're going to be making ciabatta bread. It's a nice, light, chewy bread with a good crunchy crust. And it's pretty simple to make. So let's go over our ingredients. We've got 4 cups of bread flour. I really do recommend you use bread flour for this. It'll help the bread hold its structure and shape because it's a really soft dough. 2 teaspoons of salt. 1 package of rapid rise yeast. And 1 3/4 cup of water. Just room temperature water. I also do recommend that you use a dough hook for kneading this. You got to knead it for a little while. So I've already put my 4 cups of flour in my bowl here. So we're going to add our salt. 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Our package of yeast. And we'll just put that in our mixing or our mixer here. And just give that a little bit of a stir. Now I'm going to add about 3/4 of the water and let it mix, and then we'll add the rest of the water after that's mixed a little bit. So as it mixes, we'll just add a little more water. Just let it work in there. And add the rest of that water. So it is a fairly wet dough. So our dough it's a sloppy wet dough here. And we're just going to turn up that mixer speed now to medium, and we're going to let this mix for about 10 minutes. It really needs a good 10 to 15 minutes. Now you see how sticky and messy it is right now? When it's finished beating, it'll be smooth and elastic. So I'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. You do want to keep your mixer pushed back. It's going to start to walk on you. It can walk off the counter if you're not careful, so do not leave it unattended and keep it pushed back. It's been 15 minutes. You can see the dough is nice and smooth and silky now. It's coming completely away from the bowl as it mixes. So we're pretty good here. Now I've got a square Tupperware container. You really want a square container because we're not going to punch this dough down after it rises. And I'm going to put just like a tablespoon of olive oil in there to coat this so it'll come out good. And just go ahead and use your fingers to smear it around. Make sure you get it all the way up to that top edge. And get a little on the lid as well. And you can leave some on your hands. It'll make it easier to take the dough out. But we're not going to punch our dough down, so this is going to help us give some of our shape. So beautiful stretchy dough here. And we're just going to take and we're going to just dump that right into our bowl here. This last little bit out. Always good to the last drop. Better to feed your family than the trash can. So we'll just let me just get a little oil on my hands here and just smush it a little bit out to spread it out some. So now all we're going to do is we're going to put the lid on. I don't necessarily need to put the lid on tight because if you do, it's just going to pop off in a little bit. And we're going to let that rise all the way to the top there. So that's going to take probably a good hour, hour and a half. But the longer the rise, actually the better. It allows the bread to develop more flavor, which will give it better taste. And it'll get those nice big air pockets, which are traditional for ciabatta bread. So I'll see you back here when that's at the top of the container. All right, it's been a little over 2 hours. Our dough has risen to the top of the bowl there. So I'm just going to take off the lid. I've got 2 trays. I'm going to be using a bread pan for 2 of them and just a flat tray for the other 2. I've greased them and I've already sprinkled some cornmeal in that, and you do need a little cornmeal here, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the surface of there. That's just going to help prevent it from sticking. And I'm going to sprinkle a little cornmeal on the surface of my flour here. That again will help keep things from sticking. Cornmeal kind of acts like a graphite. It keeps things from sticking. Now, I'm going to take this very gently and dump it out. I don't want to lose the air in it. That's what helps to give some of the irregular shapes and bubbles in your ciabatta bread. So we're just going to very gently turn it out. Let nature take its course and gravity pull it out. You don't need to shake or do anything else. Seem to be sticking there a little bit. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a help there. There we go. So I'm just gently loosening it. Again, you want to minimize knocking that air out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to cut this, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my bench pastry scraper, bench scraper here. Now this really is a handy tool to use for this. So we're going to cut this in 4 pieces. So I'm going to kind of mark 1 for the center, and then we'll divide each of those other pieces in half. And so you're going to turn, and let me just get a little more flour over here on this edge. So we're going to cut it, and as we cut it, we're going to roll it slightly to the side. So I'm going to make a chop all the way down and turn it a little bit to the side so that that cut is up on the top. And once I get it rolled, you can then just take and very gently move it to your baking tray. Again, you don't want to knock that air out. Now the edges always end up a little shorter for me, so I'm going to put them on that, and I'll put the longer ones in this other pan. So again, I'm going to cut down and roll a little bit to the left, cut and roll, cut and roll. And then we're going to take this and as gently as we can lift it up and set it in our baking pan. And we're just going to keep repeating that. So cut and roll, cut and roll, cut and roll. And then just lift that up as gently as we can and slide him into there. And then we'll just take this last one and we're going to turn him a little bit. And again, we're going to move him over to our baking tray. The other good thing about these bench scrapers is they work really nice for cleaning up your counter when you're done and collecting all that flour. It's always best to try and wipe your flour dry. If you start wiping it with a wet towel, you get glue. So I'm going to leave my bread setting here for about another, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Just going to let it puff back up a little bit more, and then we'll be ready to bake it. So I'll see you back here in about 25-30 minutes. I will just take a clean towel and lay that over the bread just to keep it anything from getting on it while it's rising that next 30 minutes. Alrighty, see you back soon. All right, it's been about 30-40 minutes. These have puffed up a little more. This pan is really nice. It helps keep its shape. The ones on the flat pan will spread out a little bit. I have preheated my oven to 425 degrees. So now I am just going to slide these pans in there. And I'll slide this tray in there. Actually, we'll go ahead and put him on the one below. And I'm going to turn my timer on for 25 minutes. They should bake for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll see you back here in 25 and we'll have some ciabatta ready to eat. It's actually got a couple minutes left, but I'm really smelling the bread, so I've gone ahead and checked them. I've put my thermometer probe in there and we're up over 210, so we're definitely done here. So let me take them out. And we'll get the other one out here. And we've got a couple of beautiful loaves of ciabatta ready to go. All right, so our bread is done. I just need to take it out. I'm just going to dump it out onto the cooling rack here. And it will be ready for sampling and slicing and sampling. So, 4 loaves of ciabatta ready to go. That Wagner pan does a really nice job on shaping the loaves. Let's grab this little guy here and cut a couple of quick slices. Ooh, it's hot. Very hot. You can see the nice open air bubbles in there. So just going to put a little butter on this. Very good, and the smell in here is incredible. So I hope you've enjoyed making ciabatta with me today. If so, please like and share this video. Please subscribe to this channel for more good cooking with the Iron Maiden. Thanks and happy baking.